So at the time, I was 38 years old, had a young daughter, a beautiful wife. I mean, I didn't think I could have a heart attack. My dad had come over and we were building a fire pit. And physically, I was unable to move the stones or do a lot of the things that I can usually do.
One thing that I really specifically noticed that day was Matt could not get enough to drink. So that, to me, was kind of the red flag that something wasn't right.
And at that point, my wife told me to go see a doctor. And so I got the fastest appointment I could. As soon as I told her my symptoms, she gave me an EKG. Her and the nurse run back in the room and tell me that I need to get to the emergency room as soon as possible to rule out any sort of heart problems. I left their office pretty quickly. I remember saying, "Hey, do you want me to pay for the appointment?" And they were like, "No, you need to leave." By the time I got to the lady to check in, I couldn't speak. I mean, I was in a lot of pain.
So I went in and he was laying down and I held his hand, and then all of a sudden he started vomiting. That room just got very crowded with people and I could hear commotion, and they shut the curtain. And a different set of nurses came and they started asking, does he have insurance? And then the questions led into, what religion does he identify with? Does he have any last rites? And the first thing I thought was, did he just die in there? They pulled the curtain open and they told me he needs to go up immediately for surgery.
My wife came in and said, the plan was to stay in the hospital, and I was going to have bypass surgery, but that we were going to have to wait a few days because they had put too many blood thinners in me. All of a sudden, a different doctor runs in and dramatically says, "We need to go now." Started asking questions like, "Well, I thought we couldn't do this because of the blood thinner," and he was just like, I did my own tests. I'm very worried that you're going to have another heart attack, and we need to go now. And I remember I said, "What's option 2?" And he said, "There is no option 2." He had said, usually the percentage of this type of surgery is, in the high 90s, pretty good. But with what's going on, there's a much greater chance that you might not survive. Probably the most emotional part of it was talking to Priscilla, and I just kept saying, I just want to be around for Finley. That's all I remember. And then I remember waking up and I was in the hospital, and it was my mom and my wife, and I was really happy to be there. I had what they call Widowmaker heart attack, and the reason why they call it the Widowmaker is because 98% of the people die from it. If I would not have been in the hospital, I would have died. Unfortunately, I will need to have additional surgeries unless technology and medicine adapt.
So the valve that saved Matt's life, we know that the lifespan of that valve does not match the lifespan that we intend him having. So we know at some point it has to be replaced. We know that a future heart attack is always going to be a risk factor. And the work of the American Heart Association is really pivotal, not just for Matt's future health, but we do know that heart disease is hereditary. So while we do want to stay on top of all of the newest and latest advances in heart health for Matt, we now know that for our 8-year-old, heart disease is in her genes.
Since he's my dad, he protects me. That's his job as a dad. And he's really special in our family. I feel really good when I'm around him because he's such a good dad.
A donation to the American Heart Association means hope for Matt, of course, hope for my daughter, hope that if she is ever in a similar situation or circumstance as Matt, that she doesn't have to go through what he did.
It would mean more time that I can spend with my daughter, more time that I can see her grow up, see her graduate, walk her down the aisle, and be here for my family. There is a ton of research that can be done. There are answers that we can have. Bottom line, I would ask everyone to give tonight to save lives just like mine.